Just on a high level, we talked about, some personal issues going ahead. One of the things that we talked about is, we have some issues coming up later on the agenda that we need an interim attorney. So we're gonna be reaching out, trying to get, an interim attorney for some of the issues that have come up. So that's one of the things that we discussed. We also discussed, you know, some of the current, people we have doing some services for us, and decided to go from there. So, and we also discussed the possibility of an interim executive director until we can get one hired. Not intending to slow down the process of interviewing executive directors, but to have somebody here being the face of, you know, let's face it, we've got applications now, we're gonna be going through that for an assistant, but we got phones that aren't being answered. We got people showing interest that aren't being met with today, so we need to get that fixed. So, that being said, we talked about, looking for interim executive director until we got one hired. Understanding it's not gonna slow down our process to get the executive director hired. With that, we'll go on to the rest of the agenda. Discuss the Jill Bistro.
You need to cover item 6.
Let's skip one.
Yeah.
Is there any board member that won't take action from what we discussed in the executive session?
I make a motion, we appoint Mr. Tom McClure as interim executive director. Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Just temporary, no money.
Well, we don't know yet. That's gonna be a little bit up to Mr. McClure. We'll
We have to talk to him.
Oh, I thought you might already discussed that more ago. That was you, I thought.
No, I
didn't. No.
No, I didn't say that. That wasn't me.
You been doing a lot of talking, so I thought you were, I'm sorry.
But, no, you know, that, if we make the motion and go ahead with this, that's upon us reaching an agreement with Mr. McClure, so it has to be, you know.
Has to work for both parties.
No, we're in discussion, so anybody else, have any discussion on that?
Did he say 3 days a week?
Yes.
My understanding, he's got other projects going on, so 3 days a week is all he's can and is willing to give us. And like I said, we still need to, full court press on getting a executive director hired.
Absolutely.
But, so I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
No.
Two noes, any abstention? The ayes have it. So we'll reach out to Mr. McClure and see if we can come to some terms. Any other action from the executive session?
I move that we, move forward, keeping Kentwood on as a consultant to assist with, day-to-day matters assigned to him by the, chairman of the JEDCO board.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
I just have a quick comment if I could, because I know that they worked on RFPs to do that for the contractors. So is there a period of time that Mr. Brooks will be, you know, our consultant? Will he then have to go and do the RFPs like we should, or will he just be the consultant?
Well, I did the RFPs for the consultant, and, he will do.
He'll have to redo his RFP and then everybody else, and then we would vote on that.
Okay, here are my thoughts on that. LaClynn, you had a question, I'll go to you
Yes.
first.
To our conversation pieces during the executive session, are we still calling this a consultant position or a contractor position?
Well, it'll be contract once.
It'll be a consulting position with contractual terms.
Okay.
But with that
that said, so, will he have designated days that he will be working here and not just an open come in and come as you please? Would it be a certain particular days, 3 days a week, 2 days a week, or something like that? Or tell me.
If that's,
Yeah, I know it has to be agreed upon, but we still need to know, the days of the week that he would be here in the building.
Maybe the date.
and that's something that we can put in the contract.
I agree.
Maybe the days of the week that, Mr. Clark is here.
But to answer your question, when we hire the new executive director, then we would go through the RFP process and let the executive director determine
Terms and conditions.
in terms, condition, and who. So.
I'm still going back to the same thing, so we need to know exactly what days that he's gonna be in the building. We need to know, I think it's the public needs to know, the times that he's gonna be in the building, as well as, I'm just throwing out there, the pay he's gonna receive, because these are all our taxpayers' money, so they wanna know too as well, the amount that he's gonna receive for the service that's being rendered. And if it is gonna be rendered, we probably need to know, we need to get together and make some kind of a job description. I know we're talking about a contract, I know we talked about agreement, we talked about all that. But however, if he's gonna be employed here as a contract, whatever, we still need to know how this is gonna play out. That's just my opinion. And I have that right to discuss this at this particular time, because we are in discussion portion of it.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that all of that can be worked out. I don't think it can be worked out right now, but as a contract labor, I don't think we can specify at this very moment what days he needs to be in here. I think, the president is using him as needed. So if he needed to be tomorrow, and he's scheduled not to be here right now, that can all be worked out. Later, we just need to decide what we wanna do tonight.
Well, it's,
All that detail out later, because let him keep a sheet of what he's doing. So when the public wanna know what he did this month, we'll have it on paper what he did, just keep a list of what he's done.
Just like
That's
billable
why
hours.
it's called.
Yeah, he's using billable hours.
Oh, what I can hear you, I'm sorry.
It's like billable hours, so he's being paid $1,500, and then he has to provide the billable hours, so it's not like he will be here 8 to 12 on Tuesday and Thursday, but he has to line item list all the hours that he's billing. My other question would be, would we, because this would just be like temporary, I guess, until we get the executive director, and then we go out for the RFPs, would we do a temporary contract with him to make sure that we're covered? Because as you said earlier, we have a letter from Eddie Hopkins who resigned, and then we don't even have it signed, so we need to do something temporary for Mr. Brooks for right now until we go out for RFPs.
So we're changing the title from consultant to something else, and he'll have to still do a proposal and do a contract, right?
here's my suggestion, and I would want somebody to work with me. But I do consulting, as most of you know. And when I enter into a contract with somebody, first thing I do is sign an NDA. The next thing I do is get a scope of work. And then the next thing I do is agree to a rate. So everything you're talking about is covered. So I'll have a scope of work, an agreed to rate. And right now, we're working under the deal that's $1,500 a month, but I don't know that we need to pay somebody $1,500 a month if we don't have $1,500 a month worth of work. What we can do is get a scope of work and then agree to a rate. And we could even say not to exceed $1,500, but that means once he reaches that point, he's done for the month, if that's what we But you see what I'm saying? That's what I'm used to, and I don't mind working with somebody else. I don't wanna do it myself, but come up with a contract, a consulting contract with terms and conditions, salary or rate, and, whether we wanna put a cap in or not. So as we approve this or whatever, we can actually either make a friendly amendment or that's done. But that's what I was thinking about doing is we need a contract. We need to cover ourselves, because right now, what we have working is an old offer letter. The offer letter does not match what he's actually doing. And, but we need to clear that up, and I'm willing to do that if I can get somebody here tonight, so that will help me.
Yeah, I can definitely take this, Chair.
Okay. So do you mind a friendly amendment saying that we will keep Mr. Brooks on successful completion of a consulting agreement?
Yes, I would name my motion, what I think to say is that we keep Mr. Brooks on, providing that we provide the necessary documentation that details the descriptions of this.
Okay, and who seconded that? Are you okay with that?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so the
You said
second,
detailed description, is that what you said?
Yeah, how the detailed descriptions of it.
we'll do a scope of work on
Okay,
that.
okay.
Mr. Sample, you raised your hand.
I'll second.
Okay. Well, we already had a second, I just want to make sure the second approves the friendly amendment. Okay, any other discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, I'll be, working with you pretty quick to get, terms and conditions, and Mr. Brooks will reach out and go from there.
I've got something tonight to send it to you.
And thanks for that, Brent, to get me back on track. Items of discussion, we do need to discuss, Jill Bistro. We did, and I believe I sent it out to everybody. We did receive a letter, from the corporation, that opened up Jill Bistro. They did notify us that they are permanently closed. They did say that they, in the letter, they were gonna try to do everything they could to, pay back some of the monies. They used the monies that we gave them to do the fire suppression, electrical work, and the exhaust hood for their cook. Yeah, the hood. So, and they had mentioned that they were gonna try to do something with the hood, give us some money back, but I think the terms and conditions on that are pretty clear. They're supposed to have 30 days to pay that money back if they didn't meet the conditions. One of the reasons why I believe that we need to go ahead and get an attorney involved to respond to their letter.
Yeah.
And, this is one of the things that as a board, you know, when we decide to give money to businesses and they default on that money, it's really important to the citizens of Jasper to hold them accountable to the agreed upon terms. And, so I think we're all in agreement that we need to enforce the agreement. Yes, sir.
Just to be clear and be on the record, what's the dollar amount?
1,400.
111,400.
111,400.
111,400.
I have one of
I think it's 300.
in the
Oh,
contract.
wow.
Yeah, it's 300,
Is it?
yes.
I'm looking. Oh, it's 111,300. Okay.
Take that $100 off there.
Do we have a comment over here? Okay. So we are going to reach out to an attorney on a temporary basis, and we're gonna have them, if we can get a agreed upon attorney, we're gonna go ahead and have them reach out and draft a letter. Give them copies of the contract, and we're gonna proceed with that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I think we need to have a motion. Move forward, right? We do need-
Yes.
Yes.
Can we get a motion?
I move that we use an employee or retain an interim attorney to answer to the disclosure from the Bistro Partnership, and that we demand reimbursement of $111,300
Second.
Second.
Okay, I believe Tina was first, so Tina seconded. Discussion or questions?
I just have one question. You had said that they wrote in their letter that they were gonna try to get some of the money back. Like-
That was on the hood, they were gonna try to recover that money and give it back to the city.
Okay.
But the way I read the contract, they're responsible for the whole thing.
Yes.
They did in their letter specify that some of the equipment was fire suppression, electrical work that is,
So would the
Was attached to
landlord
the
of that
building,
building be
yes.
responsible?
I'm sorry.
Would the landlord of that building be responsible so that because the company did not complete their contract, so would the person that owns that building be
They are.
responsible for the other money?
They are.
They are the owners.
But they're not the true owner, because
Yes.
there's an owner, they bought from, Mr. Jackson, the building,
Correct.
and so they're not technically the owner, they have a contract out to where it was a for sale by owner, so, he could definitely take it back if they don't pay.
Well,
So they're not the owner.
here's my take on that. We have a contract, an enforceable contract with the owners of the Jill Bistro Cafe. We did not have an enforceable contract with the owner of the building. That is my, I don't know, I slept it a holiday in, my legal opinion, but I'm not an attorney. But to answer your question, I understand the concern.
Yeah.
But I also understand that we have no contractual relationship with the owner of the building,
Okay.
if that answers your
It
question.
does, thank you.
So, but we do have an enforceable contract, which is the motion and second discussion on the table, to have, the monies paid back, because of lack of, or non-performance of a contract.
Mr. Jackson is not gonna have no, we don't have no contract with us, so we can't go after him.
Well, for example, if this organization wants to do something with that building, they can go out and sell it, and as long as they, I don't know what the contractual terms are between this organization and Mr. Jackson. And I don't think anybody else around the table does either. All I'm saying is that I don't have, as JEDCO, we don't have a way, we don't have a contractual relationship with Mr. Jackson. We have a contractual relationship with the ownership of the bistro. So,
I just have a question. Can we, you said we don't have an attorney yet, right? We wanna get somebody to come in until we get somebody, but can we wait until then to move forward on this? Can we?
I don't think so. I think there's some timing on this contract that we have to. I think it's, I don't have the letter in front of me, but I think they had 30 days to fulfill. So we need to, it might be another month before we get an attorney hired. So we need to go ahead and have the letter sent. We need to take care of that business now instead of waiting
I'm
until we
just
get.
asking, could we
Yeah.
just wait, until then and then move forward with it?
I think we have some timing requirements that force us to move now.
Okay.
That's my thought. We're still in discussion.
So did everybody get a copy of that contract?
Yes, I sent it out.
Hold on, one person, you didn't get a copy of it. So she's a board member, so she gets a copy of that contract too as well, am I right?
Okay.
And you get a copy?
I'm one.
Okay.
I'll get you, right after this meeting, we can go print off a couple copies. And if you don't mind, if you give them your email address, because that's one of the
Mr.
issues.
Sample didn't get a copy of it.
Yeah, he gave me his,
Email address.
yeah, I think we had his email backwards and stuff, it was way easier. Okay, any other discussion? Then I'm gonna go ahead and call the question. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so we have a motion to obtain the attorney to enforce the contract.
Is this for the first time this has ever happened with JEDCO?
I don't know.
You've been on the board, the Hill Green?
Well, there was a prior incident many years ago, but I have no idea what the end result of that was. You're talking about somebody defaulted?
Yes,
Yeah, this this is only the second instance that I'm aware of, but I don't know what the end result of the first one is.
I think we'll discover that,
Okay, so,
too.
see, they pay that.
Yeah, well, yeah, so I think there maybe some other, previous businesses that didn't follow the guidelines, so.
Well, that's one of the things I have Mr. Brooks looking at now is
You can sue that.
he's going through those contracts to see, what we have, and, you know, we're not ready, because I just gave him that, late last week, so.
And then those contracts are gonna be turned over to our attorney when we get one, so they can actually go through it thorough.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I know the guy that did the hair product years ago, and because.
He didn't pay that.
The hair product behind those.
People always wait.
That's the one instance I was talking
You go to jail.
Okay, let's get it back. But anyway, we're going through the contracts now, we're coming back, and if there's any other out there, that we'll get those to the attorney as well. If you call an attorney, if you don't mind, give him my name, and I'll try to coordinate a call with me and Ms. Terry.
I'll trace him down.
Okay. But do have, if you don't mind, we'll set aside some
I
time.
think that's fine.
We can reach out. Okay, the next one is, officer bonding requirements in according with JEDCO bylaws, section 4.3. I have not found a record of who we're using currently.
Did you not get what I sent you?
If I did, I didn't see it.
I sent it to you right after the day after our last meeting.
Let me go find it.
I mean, we're still covered until the 30th, I think, but they wanted the renewal payment on the 13th.
Okay, but we still have to give them the new people that need to be covered, right?
No, it's not by name, it's by position. So a
Okay.
bond is for each of the officers, not by the person.
Okay, then I will find your email and,
It's like $240, $287, something like that.
okay. Then we will reach back out to them and plan to take care of that.
I can send that to you again.
Yeah, if you don't mind, but that might have been buried in some of the other stuff I had and I just didn't
Oh,
see it.
sure.
So is that 100,000 per? 100,000 total?
It's 100,000 per. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to, action items. Review, accept, and post RFPs for contract service. So how many RFPs did we create?
I created 3. And, Jimmy, we did it for the lawn maintenance service, the janitorial facility cleaning service, and then I know you're gonna change this title to consulting service. Mr. Brooks, a different title.
Okay, so we got lawn maintenance, janitorial consultant. We actually need one more, and that's for the, what do you call it? The maintenance, I mean, the mowing, if you will, mulching, or,
Was that under the same thing of the,
yeah, out there at the sports complex.
the bush hog?
Yeah, bush hog, excuse me.
I thought that we had somebody apart to that.
We do,
It's not a
but
contract, that's right.
we're gonna go out for RFPs to,
I think the only one we've all seen is the one Mr. Scott did, so why don't we just table this and look at them, and then at our regular meeting, maybe we can approve them.
I'll make the motion that we table those because all of the other board members have not had an opportunity to review those.
okay.
Second.
I think we, second. So we're ready for discussion.
Okay.
I think we have had an opportunity to review at least one. Is to go to the action
amend it.
discussion.
Go ahead and amend it we'll table all except the IT.
Well, let me get clarification on
We
your
have a
motion.
copy, Mr. Bill.
Did you make a motion to table these?
I made a motion to table those because I have not reviewed it. I don't think any other board members have reviewed it.
Well, I signed
I haven't
Mr.
seen
Bill's.
those.
Okay, so,
Mr. Bill, you have a copy of those in your email.
I do.
emailed it to you.
yeah, I have a copy of them. What they're saying is I didn't send them on to the other board members.
Well, exactly, I understand,
So,
but I need those back.
we're specifically, your motion is specifically table these
To
three.
table those three.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? All opposed?
So you're
Okay,
gonna email that to all of us? So we
Yes.
can have it. Okay, great.
now,
Thank you.
we're gonna add an RFP for bush hogging for the, what is that called, the sports complex?
Airport.
Industrial complex, and then, but we do want to go ahead and discuss, does everybody have a copy of,
Systems administration, web hosting.
the web hosting?
It was emailed, to everyone on September 3rd.
Yes,
September what?
I believe it was September 3rd. Or, yeah, September 3rd.
it looked really good, by the way.
Thank you. You can send it if you like.
Okay, does everybody have it?
I ain't got it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about, the introduction is basically seeking qualified vendors to provide professional administration and web hosting services. The selected vendor will ensure secure, reliable, and scalable IT infrastructure to support our organization, operations, and public-facing websites. Description of current IT involvement, numbers of servers, desktop 1 to 3, operating systems, current hosting setup, and share. So let me tell everybody what we got right now. We got access to the computer. Where we're at right now is I'm the only one that has the email that I can get into the computer plus Sam's email. But I'm not sitting in front of it every day, so that's not optimal. And we also are set up with a random generated 6-digit code that generates a new number every 5 minutes as an added level of security. So basically, I'm the only one that can get into the computer right now. We need to be able to have that for all the officers, and I think that's what Keith was proposing in his proposal, that we would have that, plus web hosting service and everything else. So, anybody have questions about the RFP that has been provided?
I just have a quick question, where, will you be posting the, request for proposal? Is it going on the city website, or?
We will post that on our website, and we will ask the city if they don't mind posting it on our board, plus we will probably go, to the media to get it out there. But I just I wanted, everybody who has the opportunity and has the skills I want them to know about the RFP.
Yes. So
So that's why I'm saying we'll post it on our website, but we'll also go to the media and post it there as well. Okay, so with that, then, I'll entertain a motion that we approve this RFP, so we can get it posted.
Second.
I'll entertain a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at this thing, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chair, I move that we move forward with the RFP for systems and hosting as noted in the
Okay. Second.
Second.
Okay. I didn't want to.
I was reading this thing.
Okay, any other discussion or questions? Call the question, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Any objection?
Mr. Scott, you did a very good job with that.
Yes, he did.
Outstanding.
Okay, the next one is review the 2024-25 capital budget and propose review and accept the 25-26 budget. I sent those numbers out. Sorry for the short notice. I had to, the report I had was not printable, so I had to go ahead and create that spreadsheet and add 2 columns to it. Took me a little bit of time to do that. Be honest with you, sometimes the columns were not matching up exactly. We need to improve when we cut checks. For example, when we cut a check for the American Express, we might be paying web hosting and some other things, but what we're paying probably goes into like 3 or 4 different accounts. So it's not going to any account at the current time. So we need to improve the accounting process to where the columns add up to what we have. To the best of my ability, I provided you with the actuals. Now, when I say the actuals, the city contacted me this week. I just haven't been down there. The tax receipts for the month of July are at the city offices. We need to pick them up and get those deposited. Since we take care of another item on the agenda. So that's not reflected when, in your running totals of the budget. So with that said, I proposed, without having any other more in-depth discussions, that we keep the budget that we had last year. I just brought that forward and then gave you the actuals of what we've actually did so far this year. Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay. I have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion?
Yes. I would like to call attention to the column actual 24-25, line 32, I believe it is, it says 208,000. I don't know if that was a typo.
You talking about the actuals?
Yes. It's for item number 47 in your document.
Yeah, code.
I do think, I don't know that it was a typo more than it was a mischaracterization of which account it went into.
Okay.
And I would have to do more research into that. I did find a couple of examples where, they used the wrong number on a couple of things, but, I'm pretty sure, Tina, I can dig into that and give you a different answer. But that's not reflective of the budget, that's really some actual from 2000, I do believe it's in the wrong column. But I'm pretty sure we didn't spend on much on training. So. Any other questions? I will dig into that and see what entry actually drove that number.
So this payroll expense that was $198,000, so that, how many people was that included?
Right now, that included, the executive director and the administrative assistant. And what that is, that's total cost, that's not their salaries. But if you're not familiar, the city allows us, they do the payroll to the city. We are responsible, we hire the position, we are responsible for paying their benefits. The city administers them, and by the way, that's gonna be another item we're gonna take up. I wanna formalize that relationship like we talked about last week. But that's reimbursement for their PTOs, their what do you call it, their insurance, everything else that you would have an employee, so that's that's total expense for those 2 employees. Including benefits.
I do have a quick question about it looks like it's 4244 is the number, it's tele and com admin, $7,500. Is that the telephone system, or is that including utilities? Like, what is that, do you know what that line item is for?
Yeah, that is what we're paying, I believe, to Sparklight for our telephone system here and our internet. And I'll be honest with you, that's another thing I want to add out to the RFP, because right now I've been told by our IT support that we have had to pay go out for, at least look at different services. We might keep the same one, but I think we ought to get that out as well.
And then I just have one more quick question on the income, and I really don't know much about this, but I had a citizen ask me to ask this. Is there, our own income, are we not, like for the chamber who rents from us in this building, that doesn't stay on the budget for income, so do they not pay for that, or how does that work?
Okay, let's talk about the relationship in this building. The chamber, we are hosting this building. The chamber is not paying us rent. They are paying for the commercial printer and the maintenance on the commercial printer. And a few other small, office items and stuff that they're helping pay for. Other than that, there is no rent or anything reflected on the budget for that. The printer, I don't know what, do you have a commercial printer in your business? Commercial printers and the amount of service and stuff, those aren't cheap. But if the chamber wasn't here, we'd have to get a printer and enter into a maintenance agreement, but that's the only thing that the chamber is currently paying for, plus a few other small.
How much is that?
I don't know what that is, but I just know we used to have one, it's not cheap.
Oh, no, we have one at our office.
Yeah, they're not cheap. I don't know what it is.
Just one of the machines is $4,800 a year, and then, one of them is probably a little bit more costly than that, and that's just the machine. That's not supplies, that's not
The ink.
inks, and then there's service contracts for each of those as well.
So you're probably, I'm gonna estimate you're talking $8,000 to $10,000 a year.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what they're taking care of today. And if they were to leave for whatever reason, we would have to get a printer and enter into the contract.
Well, Mr. Chair, come on, board, I just like to make sure that I'm clear on all points. So that what we're voting on is a flat budget baseline on last year's budget.
Yes. That is
So,
correct.
at some point, we're probably gonna have to do floor scopes. What the line items are, and maybe make some amendments here.
Sure. And to your point, I was just trying to respond to a question that was asked, that there is no, the only rent on this is for some buildings. If you saw rent on here, it's for the rent of the industrial park.
Right.
That's where that money is coming from. All the rest of our money comes from either grants or the tax receipts that we receive.
So the second point is, when we lock everything down with our new treasurer and start going through the finances, then at that point, we should be able to determine what kind of amendments we need.
Absolutely.
So we bring that back to the meeting.
Yes, sir. And just for full disclosure, when we approve this budget, if we reach approval of the budget, we will be sending that to the city for them to approve whatever. I think they have a scheduled meeting, I believe it's this week, to take care of that. So. Okay, any other questions?
And this budget will be shared with the city and the city council.
Yeah, and I don't, the budget will make it public.
Yeah.
So.
I understand what go from you, I can bring it back up again, but Chamber of Commerce just pays for copier here,
They pay for the printer.
for us to use, our limited.
Yes, we are using them as well.
We use it,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that's all it did.
Well, there's some other office, they provide all the paper, some other office equipment, like some of the copies and stuff like
They
that.
don't pay any salary,
Who's some?
I mean, they don't pay anything.
They're not paying rent, if that's your question.
That's what needs to be said about, that's my opinion,
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Yeah, we can discuss that at a different minute, I mean, that wasn't on the agenda. but,
If I may state one thing here, this is JEDCO, building, JEDCO meeting, not a Chamber of Commerce meeting. Chamber of Commerce don't interfere in this meeting.
They do not, and we don't interfere in their business.
They have. I just thought it said it. They have, and they will. Okay?
Well, I'm just gonna leave it, this is out of order as far as the discussion we're having today, so we'll take that up at a different time.
Okay.
I heard your concern, not saying I necessarily share that concern, but we'll take it up at a different meeting. So that being said, any other questions on the proposed budget that we're adopting today? Okay, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Any objections? Okay, we have the approved budget. Okay, this next one is important because we need to be able to get bank statements and everything else, and we can't do that until we take care of this issue. So the first motion I want to make is to remove all current signatories from the accounts. One of them is Mr. Lanier, the other one is Charles Warren, and if there's a third one, I thought there was a third one, but I'm not familiar with who that is. But we do need to take action to remove them and then appoint new members. So I'm gonna make the motion that we remove the current signatories from all the accounts.
Mr. Chair, I second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? And we, Nicole, as discussed, we need to reflect that in the minutes that we remove those. That being said, now we need to move to the issue of adding signatures to the accounts that we have. The operating account is out of First Southwest, I think, and then we have some CD accounts in two other locations. I think three other locations, actually. So this will be to change signatories for all of those accounts.
I think,
Yes, I want to be.
yeah, I think you need to do your treasurer first, because if we're gonna change our treasurer, then that's the person you're gonna want on your signing. So maybe we can go to treasurer first.
That is a good point, so let's go ahead and do that, because I do believe the treasurer ought to be one of the signees.
Yeah.
So, we're gonna go ahead and take discussion I currently, out of order, and then come back to the agenda. So, as you know, Ms. Larkin, still wants to serve on the board, but, you know, for other reasons, she said, she can't continue as a treasurer, so we need to,
We need to nominate somebody.
yes.
Ms. Tina.
Okay, I heard two people talking at the same time, so.
Ms. Tina, right?
Okay, I have Tina Wright and also have a nomination for Scott.
I respect.
Okay. And that's an important thing. Whoever does this is going to have to be available
All
all the time, so, the one thing I can tell you is Mr. Scott's been available on IT issues and stuff, and Ms. Wright has also been available, and calls me all the time, asking me if there's anything she can do, so I support that. Anybody else? Okay, so, Mr. Semple did a motion for Ms. Wright, do I have a second? Okay, I have a second. Discussion?
All
Call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Well, congratulations, Ms. Wright, you're now treasurer. So that being said, let's go back up now and talk about, item C. We've already taken action to remove. Now we need to, appoint people to be able to sign checks.
Mr. Chair, actually, item T is, select the name to be added to the bank. E as in, Nico. D as in dog is for horse.
Well, I got, it looks like C and E are almost the same thing. So you're right, we're combining C and E. But the point is, though, we still need to get signatories. It's my recommendation we have 4. Because what happens if you get down to, if you have just 2, two and somebody's out of town, you can't get a check issued because it requires two signatures. So that being said, and they probably need to be bonded, so they probably need to be officers. So that kind of limits the scope of it. So
Can we put all four of the officers on as signers?
if it's the will of the board, yes.
I make a motion that we put all four officers on as signers on the vacant accounts. I move to put all four officers on all vacant accounts.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second it.
I have a second. Any questions or discussion? I'm gonna call the question, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. So
You
there,
said we had some CDs, did you say that? And you said at various banks?
my understanding is we have one at Do Good Credit Union, we have one,
Wait,
First National. Yeah, we do have one, we have an operating account at over here, but what's the one across from your business? And we have one at Southside, and I believe I saw some documentation that we have one at Raven.
wait.
Raven,
Yes, there's three.
so. Okay,
But we still not,
no, because the, I think I have the last statements and stuff, but it's, you know, it's still current interest, so no, I do not know what the current balances are. We can find out so we get signatures changed. So with that, what we will do is as soon as we get the minutes, we will go down to the banks and give them the minutes, and then everybody will have to go down there with their IDs and stuff to get those changed over. We don't have to do that all at the same time. We can get down there after the meeting once we contact the bank. So, Ms. Wright, I guess me and you will go down there and show the minutes, get the people on there, and then we'll contact y'all and say it's available to go by and get them your information. Okay, D, what I'd like to do on that, we actually did vote on that at the last meeting, to move forward with card access and stuff. What I'd like to do is create and get a posted RFP, to get bids. We've already had one outfit out of Beaumont come by after the vote last time and look, but I still want to do it the right way and go out for RFPs. And, is that something, that you could work on?
yeah.
Okay. And what I'd like to do is, the building, the front door stays open during business hours, because we have both, at the current time, we have both us and the chamber here. But all the office doors and everything that we have after hours, I want the door at the front coated. Actually, the chamber employee, is in support of this as well. So we'll have after hours access. What we do not have, just so the board knows, we do not have a fire alarm notification system. What we have is a smoke alarm out here. I believe that we need to take care of that as well. We do need a fire alarm and other communication services. So we need to secure the building, basically. So,
I get you that.
okay. Okay, the next one is, we decided we're gonna go out for an RFP, but, I think we do need a public relations social media team, made up of board members to, promote JEDCO on social media, which currently we're not doing. First of all, is anybody gonna have the time to devote to that and be willing to spend time doing that? Okay, Ms. Okay, okay, so we have 3 volunteers. Is anybody else?
I can be an alternate.
I'll go ahead and appoint you three to a team, and with an alternate, and, Ms. Wright, yourself, Mr. Semple, and Keith as a backup. Okay, now this one was brought to my attention that we do have a 20th Annual Economic Development Summit coming up in Nacogdoches at the university there. We usually do have people, we've actually in the past, levels of sponsorship, I think we've always reserved the table, if I'm not mistaken. Any interest of board members going to this meeting? So I want to gauge the interest before I gauge the level of,
I can tell you, I'm a flyer on it. It's, November 5th. They hosted it, Stephen F. Austin every year, it's a big group, all the economic development groups from our region come, they have guest speakers, they have talks. There's different levels of sponsorships. Let's see, I was trying to find just the table.
What was that date?
It's November 5th.
That's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday, it usually starts, I think, at 8. Here's the different prices of the sponsors.
okay, so here, a legacy sponsor, 2 reserve tables for 8, so that's 16 people. Pineywood sponsor, 35, that first one was 5,000. Pineywood sponsor, 3,500. 1 reserve table for 8 in a prominent location with special recognition. A Frontier sponsor, listed as Frontier sponsored, meeting, pre and post event advertising recognition. 1 reserve table for 8 in a prominent location with special recognition from podium, and receive a list of registrants with email addresses. Then a trailblazer sponsor for $1,500, 1 reserve table for 8 in a prominent position with special recognition, but you do not receive a list of registrants with an email address. So individual tickets are 200 and exhibitors 150. Do you have a copy of that budget? We do have money set aside for this, so my recommendation is we would probably do the Frontier sponsor for $2,500. And that would have 8 of us, unless there's a show of hands where we think we need more than 8 people going.
Can we gauge interest?
Yeah, I'm gauging interest now, but if you're ready to make a motion.
Then you can ask a question. Mr. Chair, I move that we move forward with persons to table at the 20th Annual Economic Development Summit.
Okay, at what level? Oh, so you're just saying that we need to make, so the motion on the table that we will, take action and reserve a table.
I second it.
Okay, I have a second. Now the question, what level?
I like the one you proposed.
The 1 table is gonna be 8 people.
Well, how many people would like to go? So we'll probably do them first.
I would be interested.
I enjoy that.
I will be only half to stay.
Okay, so that's 4,
So we got like
5, 6, 7, and I'll probably go as well. So we won't have any problems with the table, but I don't think we're gonna have enough for 2 tables.
we'd have a couple, 2 or 3 chairs. How many do we have right now?
There was 8.
8.
So, and there's only 1 board member absent tonight, so. I think 1 table, so my recommendation is still the Frontier sponsor, because you still get a list of all the email addresses,
Yes.
That's
Yes.
true.
so. Do I have have a motion for that? Frontier Road?
Well, we had voted on that.
You have to
Not the minute, we
No.
voted, and
We have not taken action on the first one yet, thank you for that. I'm gonna call the question on the first one that we reserved today. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so now I'll entertain a motion, for the vote. Ms. Semple? You raised your hand, do you have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the $2,500 Frontier
Okay,
sponsorship.
Second.
second. Any discussion? Call the question, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay, discuss and select a parliamentarian. Mr. Keith brought this up at the first meeting that we had. It never hurts to have a parliamentarian, that we've had a couple of, things that pointed out tonight. I personally make a recommendation that we accept Mr. Keith as a parliamentarian. Okay, any discussion?
I just say we respect the position.
Before we go, I mean, this is discussion, but before we go, I do appreciate the tone of these meetings, and I do appreciate the fact that we're all pitching in and coming to decisions. I appreciate the way these meetings are being conducted. So with that, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And we already taken care of the, any open discussion. I do have something, but I'm gonna go ahead and hold it for the next meeting, after we take care of the extra meeting. So anybody else have any open discussion?
well, there's two agenda items. I just wanna make sure we take care of,
Well, we did the treasurer out of the,
bail. I put discussion,
which one?
immediate action required to address bail, proposal, and financing requirements.
That's the emergency.
That's the emergency. We have to adjourn this one.
Okay.
The reason we did it that way, just so you all know, under the new law, you cannot add amendments or you restrict the clock. But under the EDC, there is, if you, this is not an emergency, but the other provision was if you were in danger of losing an economic opportunity, whatever, you can call an emergency meeting, so that's why. So we're gonna adjourn from this and then go immediately into the next meeting.
Okay. Good deal.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
The meeting's adjourned. And with that, I'd like to go ahead and move the adjourn, call to order the next meeting. We've already had our prayer tonight, so I'm gonna not do that, but, I'll go ahead and entertain public comment because this is a different meeting.
Excuse me.
Sean's gonna give it back to you.
I'm gonna do the prayer again, and just ask the Lord to do what I asked him to do the first meeting.
Right, make it twice as good.
Okay, so I'm gonna give some background here, and then, we're gonna go into discussion and in action. The previous board, and I don't wanna really get into the thoughts and everything about the previous board or anything else, but there was a letter of intent that went out to the Bells Corporation, not to be confused with the Bells Corporation that has previously been in Texas. This is a Florida corporation. It is different. They reached out to me last week and said that they were going to financing in their corporation this week to determine whether or not they're gonna go ahead and finance the Jasper location. So with that, I asked her quite a bit of questions, and of course, I already know there's gonna be discussion items, but I wanna tell you the conversation I had with the organization. They are gonna be spending, $940,000 to get that store where it needs to be. Now, they're actually gonna be spending more than that to come in, but that's the stuff they need to happen to the building. They are gonna put up $440,000. This is the gas corporation, is gonna put up $440,000. The owners of the property are going to put up $350,000 under their proposal. And they are asking for JEDCO for $160,000. Okay, so those are the help. My understanding, the ask is for, refrigeration, or the air conditioning unit, the electrical work, fire suppression, and, can't remember what. Plumbing. And right now, those totals are in the spreadsheet that they said that I attached to you, are somewhere in the neighborhood of $155,000. Before we get into the discussion a little bit more, these are not final bids. They will be going out for RFPs if they decide to move forward with this project. People who are local will have an opportunity to bid for these projects. And once they do, I think we have the option of saying that we can give a certain amount of money, or that we will cover the expense of the actual expense when it comes in. And that'll be up to us. But like, for example, right now they have $61,000 listed for the air conditioning. That is not a final number because they have not gone out for bids yet. They have a lot of experience putting these buildings in, so they're pretty confident that that's a good estimate. But that is not a final number by any means, because they are going to bid that out.
What was the numbers again on, how much they're asking JEDCO versus the BISDO?
They're gonna put up $440,000. And the owners of the building are gonna put up $350,000. And they are asking JEDCO for $160,000.
Okay, I have a question. But just to be clear, and I think, point was made, so I just want to make sure I'm clear on my understanding. So initially, I think there was an assumption made that, the ask was $905 million.
But that's one of the reasons I left the letter of intent on the table.
Yeah, so if that wasn't the case. What they're asking for is $160,000.
That's correct.
Versus $50,000.
That is correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was clear.
And if you'll notice on the letter of intent, they spelled out cost of infrastructure, electric, water, sewer, water, and gas, cost of an HVAC system and installation, and repair to existing fire sprinkler systems. Yes. Go ahead. Then JEDCO will require in the letter of intent, proof of lease of the building or proof of purchase of the building. The building located at 1201 South River Street, a business plan, a final business plan, a financial statement, monthly report on number of employees, stores open to the public, and if you remember the deal, they're committing to 18, I believe it was 18 to 25 employees, and they're signing a 10-year lease, but the commitment is being open 3 to 5 years to meet the requirements. So, and the letter of intent said a signed contract from JEDCO bills for a period of 3 to 5 years. And all negotiation must be actual cost, not estimated cost. Payments to bills will be made upon receipt of paid invoices, not until then for contractors involved. All negotiation will be based on the approval of the JEDCO board. That's what the letter of intent spells out.
Okay.
So with that being said, what is the will of the board?
I would like to see a representative from that particular company come here and talk to us about the services. So since us, giving out $160,000 and we have never met with them, I think it's my recommendation that we meet with them first before we decide to award them $160,000 or more. That's just my recommendation for it.
Okay. Let me ask people the previous board did they do a presentation in front of the board before?
I don't recall.
Please keep the noise down.
Get more, please.
Yeah, go ahead.
They did, it was about teleconference and a big Zoom, meeting with the representatives from Bell's company and our realtor. But I know that, I agree with board and all that,
Yeah.
the new board, they should.
I just was asking a question if they had already previously done
They did
this.
do a Zoom meeting.
So I'm not opposed to that, because the new board members do not understand, well, the quality of the store. I don't know anything about, I knew about the old bills, because I actually shopped in them before. I don't know anything about the new version of it.
Y'all remember the old bill, like a stage.
I will no, but they're not associated with the
So,
same.
the old bill was like a stage.
That being said, I will tell you that they have postponed this internal vote twice because they did not have anybody to talk to.
Do they have a deadline that they need to know this by?
I was supposed to let them know something tomorrow. Now, I'll let them know what the board decides. I think they're looking for a commitment that if they meet all the stuff, that we would go ahead and participate. I don't think, we're not gonna, my personal recommendation is I'm not gonna agree to a number until I see a contract. We work out all the details of the contract anyway. They are wanting, on a high level, that we will support them financially to a certain level, if everything can be worked out.
Right.
That's the answer.
I think we could approve the letter of intent subject to, first of all, receipt from them of our numbers, their own RFPs, and then subject to one more Zoom meeting.
But we're new board, so we haven't even, we haven't seen anything, so.
I don't think we should approve the letter of intent until they have come to us and we present what they have, because I do know, because I did do a little bit of research on it, and it is not the Bells like from years ago that I remember going to, but Bells Inc. from Florida did acquire, and they bought Stage and all of their own things, so it is the same as the Stage store. I have been in these Bells stores before, and it is like Stage. So if you don't want Stage, I would think that you wouldn't want Bells, and that's just, that was just a quick Google search on Bells and Stage, it's the same company. So I think they would need to.
It's like an outlet too.
They are an outlet.
An outlet.
Yes, that's what their name was to, Florida
Yes.
Best.
Just above the whole store.
It's
What
just a
Bill
little.
Brand was trying to get at was that letter of intent with those stipulations added in here, it just gives them, yes, we plan on trying to see what you can present us and help you, that way we don't lose them entirely. So it just gives them a little bit of faith in our direction.
Well, and I understand that, but I think with a company that is successful as they claim online, that they would be able to afford $160,000 to complete their project for them to be in business here. Also, I did, at the board meeting in July, one of the board members was talking about, she had done, because Phelan Investments is the one that owns that building over there.
Understood.
And she had said that she had done business with Phelan Investments, and they didn't care about any of the upgrades on the building, they weren't gonna do it. She said that they've already made their money, so my question would be, is in the future, if this company had issues with their building, that their landlord is Phelan Investments, are they going to go and do the maintenance or whatever they need to do? Because she said Phelan don't do that, that they don't, so I was just going by what she said.
Yeah.
So will this be
work
work
on
on
it
it?
between this 350 group and that Phelan group?
Yes, so Phelan is putting up $350,000 into this project. What they do from there, I'm only asking for the board, what they wanna do on the part that they're asking us to do. Their future stuff, and I wanna get into my thoughts later on, I don't wanna complicate this discussion. But all we're talking about is, is their ask of $160,000. What's the will of the board? LaQuinn has mentioned, there's no motion on the table, but he mentioned enhancing the letter of intent with some requirements for them to come meet us and discuss further.
What's the business value of going forward with a proposal like this?
Well, that's kind of what I wanna talk about later, but, you know, the value to Jasper, as I see it right now, is the 18 to 25 employees will have.
Yes.
The commitment to be in 3 to 5 years, and the tax sales revenue that will come in. I have not seen those projected revenues, and I'm not gonna project that I have seen the projected revenues, I haven't seen that. But, the previous board, and this, I will say this, if I was on the previous board, I don't know whether I would support this or not, okay? But my point is, the previous board did send a letter of intent out. And I personally think that once you kind of make that level of a commitment as a town or an economic development council, there's an integrity component to this discussion. And I've got mixed feelings on this project.
Why would you not want to support it? What makes you think you would have maybe said no?
Okay, so I will go ahead and get into that. I'm not a big fan of supporting restaurants and retail, period, and I'll tell you why. As an economic development council, and I met with some people and others reaching out. I'm looking for manufacturing jobs, I'm looking for people to come into this town. If you start approving restaurants, where does it end? There's other people providing restaurant services in town. And if you give money to one restaurant, you know, everybody else is gonna say, where's my money? You give money to retail, you've got stores here already providing services. You're giving money to somebody who's gonna be competing with the people who are already here. So I'm not a big fan of retail and restaurants, period. That's just my thought. I've talked to some other people that have influenced that thought. But that being said, the integrity part of this equation is important to me too, because the previous board thought it was important enough to sign a letter of intent. So that's where I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, is honoring the commitment and doing that versus my personal thoughts that giving money to retail when, you know, we have a lot of boutiques in town, we have Walmart, we have a lot of other businesses that will be competing directly with this retail store. So, you asked my opinion, and that's what it is. So, but also, integrity is important to me. So,
I'll say something.
Sure.
I agree with you 120%. We talked about this earlier. And, personally, I don't think they can do anything over in Virginia. If Dave Finley wants them over there, he can pay for them to be over there.
Okay, well, this is where I don't agree, because I understand what you're saying at all. If you let one, if you do another, but as an economic development group, our mission is to bring people to us, and you have to entice them to come here. If we start saying, well, the Phelan family, and it's not Dave doesn't probably have anything to do with that building, but because it got put out on social media, now not everyone, there's a select few are in an uproar because the building's owned by Phelan. But here's the deal. If Mr. Beaver from Buc-ee's came into us and said, hey, you purchased me that piece of property over there, I'm gonna put a Buc-ee's right there, are we gonna look at him and go, you have enough money to do it yourself? No, we're not gonna do that. We wanna bring people. So even though someone might have money in their paycheck, or their business is good, any big business that comes to town is going to have money. They can probably take care of it on their own, but the point is, we have to give them a reason to come to us. And the only way to do that is to entice them to get here. So if a big company like Amazon or Elon Musk wants to come in, we're gonna have to show them this is why you wanna come here. We're gonna have to give them tax breaks, we're gonna have to pay for something, we're gonna have to help do infrastructure. It can't just be, oh, well, you make over a certain bracket, we're not helping you, you do it yourself. We can't this is the place you wanna be. So I agree, if you think that we should be looking other, I do agree with that 100%. You don't wanna have to give to one and then everyone get mad. Somebody's gonna get mad no matter what you do. I mean, we see that on social media all the time. Somebody's mad because Corvallis brought in 200 jobs, but they're mad because their pay isn't enough. Or someone's mad because we gave money to Jewel Bistro, but they only had 5 employees. You're not gonna make everybody happy. That is just end story. Somebody's gonna bitch about whatever we decide to do. But I think if we do it on truly trying to make us a better place, you know, if we have $1 million in the bank, and there's a company who's coming in and they're asking for $100,000, do we have somebody sitting in our, waiting for us to take that million? I don't think so. If JEDCO said that, the whole JEDCO board, if they said, hey, we will intend to do this for you, I don't see why we don't do what McQuinn said and say on these aspects, we will go with what the old board said. If you do, you know, if you meet with us via Zoom or come to us and give us your plan or your proposal, I don't think that's a bad idea at all. We can't start telling people that we're not gonna help them because we don't think they need the help.
Can we not do a letter of intent and not specify that I will go with that amount of money? Is that not negotiable?
I think that's how he had to say.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some prerogative here and add to what you just said. And one of the things, whether people here like who owns buildings and who doesn't own buildings, if I was coming into Jasper and I wanted to bring a business in, I have 2 options if I need a building. I can build, or I can look for an existing building. And I don't know what the contrast here in Jasper is about acquiring land and building versus acquiring an existing building. But I will say this for the record, if somebody is coming into Jasper and they're not gonna build a building, but they wanna come in, there's no way they're not going to land in somebody who already owns buildings that maybe somebody likes, maybe somebody didn't like. But somebody owns most of the buildings here in town. So their option is if their business plan does not support a brand new building, they're going to move into a building that's owned by somebody. Okay. The JEDCO board is looking at that new customer. They're not, in my mind, not necessarily looking into who owns the building. Now, do we protect ourselves by putting in, if you don't meet these kind of like Jewel Bistro, if you don't meet these qualifications, regardless who ends up owning that building, we're still going after the corporation that did not meet their contractual obligations to JEDCO. And I'd like to personally get away from who owns the buildings, because if you are gonna move into this town and you're gonna move into an existing building, somebody owns it. And somebody will always find a reason not to like that, but that's just the reality of a small town. But you do weigh the options. Is Bill's moving in worth the financial investment of $160,000? Are we gonna get enough jobs, tax revenues and everything else, and even providing a service that might not be met today out of giving them $160,000? If the answer is yes, then I think the board should move it. If the answer is no, then that's a different discussion altogether. Personally, I'm on the fence. However, as I mentioned earlier when you asked me what my opinion was, the integrity of the previous board, regardless of what you thought about it, they signed a letter of intent. To me, if you turn around and change your opinion completely and you say, we're not playing anymore, that's fine, that's our prerogative to do. I think it's a black eye to this board. That's just my thoughts.
Do you think that, and I agree with you, Mr. Cole, but do you think that, for us to call, you know, it would do something to our integrity or whatever if we requested for them to do another presentation?
No.
So,
Yeah, I think that's part of it. What is the
No, in other words, if this board is not comfortable with enough information, and I fully understand that, we can call them tomorrow and say, we're still interested, we still plan on our, but we still need some more questions answered, and we need to set up a time to talk to you. And if that's not good enough for them to make a decision, understand, we might lose the opportunity altogether. That, I mean, we take action as a board, and we stand by the action of the board. If we need more information, that's what the board says.
decision, if they choose to walk away. But until then, I think we keep pressing forward.
And I'm not opposed to that, Glenn, I'm not opposed to, you brought up 15. You're not satisfied?
I'm not satisfied because I haven't had an opportunity to ask some questions to them. They have not presented themselves to this new board.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
With that being
I hear you,
said,
Lynn.
go ahead.
Yeah, Tina, go ahead.
My concerns with this project, and to LaQuin's point, it's possible to outline a little bit deeper on the letter of intent. But, the guarantee of the 16 to 18 actual employees, not the 10 construction jobs. The 16 to 18 jobs being proposed, there's nothing about if they're full-time or if they're part-time, and there's no even mention of what the wage is, which I'm assuming would be minimum wage, which is not a living wage, which we have a lot of those jobs here already. There's no commitment on here saying that they're gonna be hiring employees from within Jasper County. And I would like that to be something that we address as well. And, you know, the agreement, the wording in the agreement, I would like it going forward, even if it's this or if it's another project, we need to use the words will not exceed whatever the amount is, because we've had experience with other contracts coming back and saying, well, we need more money because we made a mistake. Not to exceed. So with that being said, with the RFPs, or, you know, with the bids, quotes, whatever you would like to call them, when they should be, I don't know if this is something that can be in this letter of intent, but asking them to provide 3 bids or quotes so that we can take the one in the middle. And then, we're being asked, going with Ms. Northworthy, being asked to make a decision on something that we really don't have a lot of information about, and also may not align with the long-term financial interests of the citizens of this county.
Understood?
So that's.
The only
that's
thing,
where I'm at.
my only response is I understand and don't disagree with anything you said. The quagmire we found ourselves in is not Bell's fault. And I'm just gonna say, you know, I don't know if they're gonna have the patience to do this or not, which is fine. What I'm hearing loud and clear is, I hear that we probably still have support, but we want them to come and answer some questions.
Do we know how long that building's been empty, that space?
It's been empty ever since I've been in, which was 2020. It was before that, so I don't know. So it's been empty 5 years, if not longer.
Yeah, I moved here in 2019, I was in already, so.
So I will need direction, however. Do we want to do a letter of intent, or do you want me to just call them tomorrow and say, generally, there's still interest, but we need you to come talk to our board?
I feel like what Will Brandon was saying, kind of hit both of these markets, that it let us kind of get a little bit of faith in their direction so they don't try to backtrack on us, but it also gave us enough room to answer and follow through with what everybody else is concerned was as well. So I feel like what he was saying is our best move, and it's the smartest.
Okay, I was fixing to say, are you willing to put your suggestion into formalization? Do what? Yeah, let me see if I get a motion first.
So do you want to speak before the motion, or discuss it after the motion?
You go ahead.
They need to come here and talk to us. This is new board, whatever that board did, that's fine. I ain't worried about that. I am worried about it. We're a different set of people here. We're looking at things different. Okay? And if you got somebody coming here, I'll come over here and here to get y'all to pay my rent. Pay my rent for me to be here. I'm already here, but hey, I come over here and get y'all to pay my rent. Same thing.
Good point.
And good for, far as the Buc-ee's, if Buc-ee's was coming here, bam, we'd be in a minute. There's a difference in Buc-ee's and a damn outlet store. An outlet store is just above a Goodwill.
I'm not saying, I wasn't saying that those are compared to each other, I'm just saying, we can't say that we don't wanna put anyone in that building because Dave Phelan's family owns the building, and so we shouldn't give them any
And
money.
we gotta
That's
start
what I'm saying.
We gotta start somewhere, because Jasper's starting to look like a ghost town.
That ain't our fault.
And we need to
Okay.
work the law.
Okay, I'm gonna bring the meeting back. Okay, thank you for your comment, Ronnie. So I asked you before that comment.
So before I make the motion, let me add one more talking point. If you own a business, another business is gonna benefit your business. So y'all need to think about that. So, with that, I move that we issue a letter of intent along the same terms and lines as already mentioned, but add there too, subject to, a visit from them. Either, I'm good in person or by Zoom, either one. Are everyone good with that?
Perfect.
And then subject to their providing hard numbers, so that we know what we're dealing with.
Sure.
And as to contractors, let me just say this, Ms. Wright, you know, it's typical, any job that anyone does with outsourced labor or construction, there's always an overage factor, always.
8%.
So anyway, that's basically my motion. Did I forget something?
I second.
Okay, I have a second, discussion. So I just want to make it, for purposes of discussion, clear that we will reissue the letter of intent. But in the area of JEDCO, do we change what we're willing to cover? There's two sections to the letter of intent. Or do we just add to what JEDCO will require? Okay, so that being said, we would require them to, come talk to us either via Zoom. Now, by the way, do we have the capability of having a Zoom meeting?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So have a Zoom meeting here or in person, preferably in person. The lady I've been talking to is out of Dallas, so it's not like she's having to come from Florida. And then, to answer the outstanding questions that have been raised by several people. And then, depending on the outcome of that meeting, we intend to support it.
We bring it forward or we drop it at all. And I think they would be delighted to visit.
Okay. Any other questions?
Some of the, they're actually in written, like business plan, financial statement.
Yeah, all of that. I mean, it's a good,
Did they ever come forward with anything?
Don't know.
well, they,
We have to agree to do it with them first, before
Yeah.
they bring, that's the, I guess we have.
Well, this is draft, July 30th, 2025. Somebody say it was next.
Yeah, there's only 3 board members on that are still on the board today. And as far as I know, I have not seen this. So any other discussion?
So nothing happened, 11 and 10%, but nothing really happened. They like came back and said,
I think there's been other discussions, we just weren't privy to them.
so it could have been, it could have provided. We just had.
I'd have to go back and look at all the emails, and of course, this is after Eddie resigned, so the only emails I would have, I'd have to go through Sep's emails, and at one time I haven't done it.
Okay.
I just have a quick question, and I'm business person that I don't know, to letter of intent, doesn't that mean I intend to give you something?
Under no stipulations, though.
Under the
With
stipulation.
letter of intent, that they come back with this, if they come back with this, then we're gonna sign a contract with you.
It's a good faith gesture, but.
It's a good faith gesture that if they meet everything that we add to this, and I'll get with you, LeBron, to do that, but if they meet everything we add to this, to our satisfaction, okay? There's a caveat to that, that we intend to support them, that's what we're looking for. Now, key word is to our satisfaction. And there's been some concerns raised that we don't have that. So, with that, I'll go ahead and call for it. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Did you oppose it? So we have 3 opposed? Do what? No. Ms. Wright, Mr. Semple, we have 3 opposed. Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. Sorry, that was a critical one. Any open discussion after that? And I want to come back to what I said earlier. It's not that I'm shutting out retail and restaurants. I think we don't get the biggest bang for it.
If you allow, if you give one restaurant something, then you're gonna, at the end of the day, you're not gonna make everybody happy. If you're gonna give to one, and then someone's gonna complain and give to them, I completely see what you're saying. I do.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say something before everybody leaves.
Okay, let me do the adjournment stuff, and then I'll give you the floor before. So, any other business? With that, I'll make a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Okay, and before we leave, I'd like to give you the floor.
Let me say just a couple of personal things. Okay, first off, thank y'all for even considering me to be here. Number one, you are a 2A to recruit manufacturing, or a whole new list of other things that are not retail running. You are right. You don't go out looking for retail businesses. That's the Chamber of Commerce and the city's job. From my point of view, we've got a great airport industrial park out there that's not meeting its needs. All right?
Yeah.
Now, you appointed a marketing committee. I really want to work hard with y'all on marketing. Market to those who will do, not just the general public. You've got to know who's out there and what they're looking for. That's the job of the executive director, to read the Wall Street Journal. We all do this. We advise you on what we see and the people that we talk to. I know that y'all have met with the stage bell people. The board, I think, erred in following that decision. We did have Lowe's, Walmart come in that caused a lot of controversy, right? I got hit real hard with that. But the whole deal was, you gotta have the jobs to come with a big retail outfit. Buc-ee's, Marshall turned them down. Jobs are essential right now to the middle income and lower income populations, because you've gotta have those type of businesses. Chamber and city need to realize what it takes for their role to be accomplished there. You don't have a community development office in the city of Jasper. Nobody's there looking into those needs of the city. I mentioned to you that now, among the other responsibilities of 2A, they add development of housing. Because if you get a major company who looks at moving here, they want to know 2 things. Where are my executives going to live, and where are our workers going to live? If you look at the second category,
you ain't got a shot in the world. We will work on that. We will work on that. But these things need to be understood and developed, and work cooperatively with other organizations in the community that have a deep interest in making those things happen. So that's the job of the executive director, is to get out there and meet with these other organizations and people and say, we want to bring in business and industry here, but we want these businesses to be manufacturing. We want the so-called other businesses to be like major corporate heads and people who bring in 100 employees, okay? It's gotta have that qualification before the Economic Development Corporation, particularly since we are limited in the tax dollars that we receive. The last thing I want to say is, don't forget, when you read the law on establishing a Economic Development Corporation, one of your big deals is issuing bonds. You get paid back for the money that you loan the people to do the project. You're not making grants, you make a bond, tie them down to understand you do what you're getting this money. So we've got to focus on those issues